Let me put you on to peak. Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, what a name. It's basically the spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio, which I never actually played. It's got a lot of style. This game honestly surprised me. I mean, it looks good on its Steam page, but 40 bucks, come on. But hey, it was on sale for half off, so I had to grab it and see what I was missing out on. That's Trice the homie, and that's Bell, and this is the hideout. This is where our crew, Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, or BRC for short, starts its journey to become All City, the best crew of all 5 boroughs. You can use roller skates, bikes, or skateboards to get around the city and tag it up to gain rep and become the best rider around. It's a pretty simple concept, but it's the execution of it that makes this game so special. Each character of the crew is playable, so you're not stuck to just one, and this game has one of the coolest character selection mechanics I've ever seen ever. Basically, you start a dance circle up. Here, I'll just show you. If you come to these checkerboards around the maps, you can start dancing to initiate a character change. Depending on who you have unlocked, there will be more or less choices. Honestly, what a dope gameplay mechanic. The whole game is basically just like this too. It's a 10 out of 10 for me, minus a few small details I'll get to later. I also really like the phone they added. You can use it to take pictures, change music, or get hints in the form of text messages from your crew. It's also a good spot to see where your objective is. It's also really cool that your character actually holds the phone out while you ride. There's a really good variety of environments too. The pacing of the game has you constantly moving to new areas, so the game stays really fresh. It's one of those games where you get caught up doing something and forget about the main objective for 30 minutes. Or maybe you're just vibing to the sick ass music Hideki Naganuma made for this game. God, I probably butchered that name so hard. Hideki Naganuma. I'm pretty sure he also worked on Jet Set Radio, so I'm gonna have to check that out soon. I think it's only like 8 bucks, so I gotta get that. Of course, you will hear repeats, but there are songs that won't play until later in the game. At least I think that's how it works. But that helps the music stay fresh and enjoyable the whole time. I never actually had to change a song because I heard it too much, so I don't know how I got this far into the video without talking about the art style. It's honestly what got me to buy it. It's such a fresh look. I seriously think so many games are held back by making realistic graphics that just flop anyways. A real strong art direction can sell your game by itself. This is definitely one of those games you want to get before the trailer's even done playing, and that's because it's fun to look at. The graffiti is cool. The design is determined on how you connect these 6 dots. Depending on what you do, the graffiti will look different. You can see the guide to each one on your phone. As you go around tagging up the maps, your heat level will rise, causing increasing forces of police to come your way. Heat level goes up to 6, I think. If you piss the cops off enough, they'll send drones after you, as well as snipers and riot shield police. You can fight the police, but I usually prefer to just style on them. They can't catch up to you anyway. Each map has collectibles to find, like clothing options for crew members, or skins for skateboards, bikes, or rollerblades. Some of these are in pretty hard to reach areas, so good luck finding them all. You can also find new graffiti options. The trick combos that are available to you in this game aren't as advanced as something like Tony Hawk Pro Skater or Skate 3. Each rideable only has one move corresponding to each trick button, and a second set for when you're boosting. Honestly though, I felt this worked really well for the game. With all the crazy environments you're going through and the variation between the bikes, skateboards, and rollerblades tricks, the gameplay never got old for me, even when just sticking with a skateboard. You can also just spin around on foot, and if you mix that with your skateboard, you can get a good amount of variation in the tricks you do. If you're someone who likes to do more than just skate around and collect things, don't worry, there's a whole part of the game I haven't even mentioned yet. The story of the game starts by showing you in a jail cell where a Trice breaks you out and it's revealed your name is Fox. Well, at least until your head gets cut off in the midst of trying to escape jail. But the homie comes through and gets you a cyberhead. Now you have no memory of your past self, so the crew calls you Red because of your red cyberhead, and sets out to find DJ Cyber, the guy that decapitated you. Upon doing so, he makes a bet that you can't get enough rep to oppose him for All City. He won't respect your demand for your head back until you do. So the crew sets its sights on overthrowing every borough in New Amsterdam where the game takes place until it has enough rep to take on DJ Cyber's crew Futurism for the title of All City. As you go through each map, you'll have to gain rep to take on rival crews and beat them. The crew battles are the best part of the game in my opinion, and it's what the entire story is structured around. The old heads are great. They oversee each battle and make sure it's fair. They ultimately decide who wins and loses each crew battle. Don't underestimate the story in this game. It's well thought out and it doesn't overstay its welcome. This game's art style and overall feel are perfect for this kind of storytelling. It's fun, fast-paced, reminds me of games from the early 2000s with a fresh coat of paint on. It took me about 8.5 hours to complete the story, and there's still a ton of side objectives for me to complete. You know that feeling of laying in bed at 6 AM and being excited to wake up and play the game you can't stop thinking about? This game did that for me, and it's something AAA games I've spent $60 on don't even give me. I'm starting to think that $40 price tag might not be outrageous. I've realized that these games are valuable for much more than just playing it once and moving on to something else. Every aspect of this game can be taken by itself and enjoyed. The music is amazing, and you don't need to be playing the game to enjoy it. The art style brings out the creativity of people who like to draw and do fan art, and it inspires people who code to create more amazing games. I mean, it even got me to make this video. These types of highly stylized games create whole communities that last longer than the game itself sometimes. You could even argue this game is itself a part of the Jet Set Radio community. Honestly, my big complaint is that I wanted more. It'd be cool if they made a second game expanding on this one. An online mode where you can challenge rival crews and make your own would be awesome. I also really wanted more drip. Only 4 skins for each character wasn't enough, especially since they just changed color. I like to be able to fully customize my guy how I want, and I think the style of this game fits perfectly with that. It's funny, BRC came out in 2023 and I already want a sequel. It's not all good though. I can't stand that you can't change grind direction while grinding. I don't know why this isn't a thing, considering you can just jump into a circle and go the other way regardless. All you've done is make my life harder. I can't tell you how many times I've failed a line because of this. I understand why you can't do that in realistic skating games, but we have jetpacks. I should be able to switch the grind direction. Also, the combat with cops needs more style. It feels like I'm punching air. I would have fought a lot more if my punches felt like they were actually doing anything useful, and the cops feel like they want you to get away. If you're not fighting back, they basically just watch you do circles around them. I think I died more from falling off the map in Baton than I did the cops. To be fair, this isn't GTA and I'd rather have the cops in the game than not, but I do think this is the weakest area. After the story of the game is finished, there's still a bunch to do and stuff to unlock, like new areas you probably missed, or 20 other characters including the ones you unlocked through the story to play as. You can also go for 100% completion of every map if you're a nerd. The developer Team Reptile makes a few other games that look really good, like Lethal League Blaze and Megabyte Punch. Both seem to share a similar art style to BRC, so I'm definitely getting those at some point. Regardless of what I have to say about BRC, don't sleep on this game. I don't think there's a single person who enjoys video games who won't like this. To me, it feels universal. I hardly realized time was passing while playing. I'd look at OBS when I was done recording and it would say 2 hours, but it really did not feel that long. That's something only my favorite games do for me, so I think it's safe to assume this is one of my favorite indie games right now. Seriously, this one came out of nowhere for me. I just bought it on impulse and it's such a great decision. The mechanics are fantastic, the music bumps. Riding around the streets of New Amsterdam, doing crew battles is so fun. I'm thinking about replaying the story again. The art style is like crack for my eyes. Seriously, it's such a good looking game. And apparently it only requires 2 GB of space. I have no idea how it's that small but looks this good. And even where it falls short, it quickly makes up for it by just being super fun. The game does cost 40 bucks, so I would say wait for a sale, but if you got to spread money around, I don't think you'll regret it. It's definitely a better use of your money than buying almost any AAA title that's out right now. Except for Black Myth Wukong, that one is actually good. I do think I like this game better though, and that's a hot take for sure, because this game Black Myth Wukong is blowing up at the moment. To me, Black Myth feels like it's too long, and it gets repetitive. This game, while I'm sure it gets repetitive eventually, moved at a fast enough pace to keep me invested for the entirety of my playthrough, which is seriously a hard thing to accomplish with video games, so if that tells you anything about BRC, it's that you should get it. Anyways, that's all I have to say about that. These videos take a while to make, so don't forget to like the video. Peace.